What is this? Hey Sarah, what are you looking at? I was looking for apartheid in South Africa in my...
It showed up on my FYP too, but I don't know much about it.
Because this day we have class with Mr. Yusuf. What if we asked to him?
That's a good idea.
Good morning, everyone. Let's start the class for today. Okay, so that's enough material for today. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Sarah?
Sir, we have questions about this. This is the apartheid South Africa. We'd like to know more about it.
That's a very good topic, Sarah. According to Dog Heinsen, the apartheid city was created in 1940s as a disguise to manage the interest of the National Party. The ruling apartheid regime requires at the time of urban spatial segregation. Spatial groups were moved into clearly defined spatial zones within the city.
Hello, sir. I'm interested in buying this land. How much is it?
You want to buy this land? I bet you can't even afford it. And why are you so gross?
Are you insulting me?
Just for your information, Native Land Act 27 of 1913 states that native cannot enter into any agreement or transaction for the purchase or acquisition of any such land from a white person. People are only allowed to buy from your own people.
I couldn't even buy land there. What? Don't tell me you tried to buy the land from the white person. I did? I mean, it's so unfair. The white people, they live so close to the city center and to the center activity, but we live so far away. We're so isolated and our town is so underdeveloped compared to others.
Soon after the city segregation model, the apartheid city model was created.
From here you can see that the white people are actually separated from the Indians and colored peoples, as well as the native African ethnicities are separated from other native African ethnicities. So as you can see in the apartheid city planning, the white residential area actually formed surrounding the central business district, which actually gives them a socio-economic advantages over other races, native Africans who had to travel further away from their townships, and this can actually impact them negatively as they had to travel the high cost.
Then what happened after that, sir?
Well,
Good job, guys. We finally won the election, and now we have the power to govern the whole country.
Yeah, so what's our next step now?
We should start first with our plans to enforce racial segregation.
How do we do that? Through laws and regulations, obviously.
Yes, through urban planning. And luckily for us, there's already an act to enforce this. So what should we put in here?
Well, we should probably put it along with the natives, right? Just so they don't feel left out.
Yeah.
What if we say that we're going to improve the condition of residents for native in or near the urban areas and the better administration of native affairs?
We can.
I think we should also exempt colored persons from the operation of pass laws.
There's also the issue with possession and use of beer and other intoxicating liquor by natives in certain areas.
Yes, let's include the restrictions and regulation on that. Good. We're sympathetic to the colored, but subjugating to the native Africans, which will then invoke racial hierarchy amongst the people. What should we name it though? What about the Native Act of 1923?
Hello, my fellow Social and Economic Planning Council. I am Jan Christian Smuts, and I am Prime Minister of the Union of South Africa starting from this year of 1944. I would like to ask about advice you gave to my government on matters regarding urbanization, planning, and racial segregation.
We've already created a clear mandate to separate areas of residences according to race as a systematic process in urban planning in the Union of South Africa as according to your request. We've also made the segregation of residential area based on race to be a national policy, sir.
Good job, Yusuf. I'm impressed with your work.
Ugh, this is so annoying. Huh? We're receiving more and more complaints from white people about native Africans matters. The honesty of it. We have to do something. Oh, what if we give the Minister of Native Affairs the power to force Africans to move off land, and then give landowners, local authorities, and government officials the power to evict and destroy homes and squatters? That's a really good idea, since this is also a matter to be addressed as soon as possible. Then, how about we call it the Prevention of Illegal Squatting Act of 1951?
That's horrible.
Yeah.
How long did this continue on for, sir?
Well, the issue of racial injustice in South Africa would not go unnoticed. A prominent figure is Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in South African prison to fight not only for his people's right, but also every other colored individual's people's right in South Africa. On February 11th, 1990, he was elected as the President of South Africa. This marked as a monumental moment in South Africa's history and was thought to be the end of the apartheid in South Africa. My friends, we've won the 1994 election. However, due to the apartheid regime that happened for so long, South Africa has glaring differences in the quality of life, economic activities in different parts of the countries, and huge differences in access to a decent quality of life between those of whites and blacks, not to mention a huge public debt. Does anyone have a suggestion on what to do?
Sir, we've created a draft of the policy document to address these issues. It is called the Reconstruction and Development Program. We would like you to take a look about this. What we're aiming for is the construction of millions of houses for low-income families, extension of access to clean water and electricity, and increase school enrollment and literacy rates, especially for the black people.
This is a brilliant idea. Alright, let's start by creating the RDP office.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the RDP office's newest proposals. Oh, carry on. So it's called the National Spatial Development Framework, the NPSF. So it is an outcome of the people's concerns about a lack of shared standards in infrastructure investment and the realization that if the state were to spend in a highly planned way, it would not have enough funds. Well, we've mapped all state investments by making use of a GIS, and various key stakeholders will be involved in the expenditure that is mapped. All these stakeholders will then come together and through dialogue and persuasion, change and tweak proposals for future investment to align with an agreed future trajectory.
So, you're saying that where our future investment will go are beside?
Yes, that is correct.
What? These are money you're talking about. And you people are going to tell us where to spend it? How dare you?
Ma'am,
So, how's everything, guys?
sir, I'm afraid we have limited funds and lack of massive investments from abroad. Our current economic situation isn't enough to fulfill the country's need for massive intervention and change. What should we do?
We should close down the RDP office for now until we've managed to find further solution.
But fear not, as the fight for equality and planning just continued in the government soon, came out with Accelerated Shared Growth Initiative for South Africa, ASGA in 2006, New Growth Path NGP in 2010, and National Development Plan in 2012. There's also other documents, however...
Colleagues, we are facing another issue. There is a lack of coordinated infrastructure investment and development spending between government initiatives.
What if we prepare a set of guidelines to ensure the alignment between the municipal strategic integrated development plans and the policies, strategies and plan prepared in the national and provincial levels of government?
That way we can make sure every municipality has the same degree of development.
Oh, yes, that'll do. But what should we call it?
How about the spatial guidelines for directing public infrastructure investment and development spending? SGIID.
Oh, that's a good one. Another issue is where the investment should go.
It would be better if we rather focus on investment for a place of development potential, especially for economic growth.
What? Wouldn't that have a negative impact?
I think it's good to refer to the Special Development Initiative, where the investment is limited to places with development potential.
Yes, we have to keep in mind the harsh realities of the global economy.
Alright then. So after it is proven to have been successful, then we can shift our attention to more regional areas.
Correct. And we will have the entire thing be National Spatial Development Perspective. Then we shall present it to the cabinet.
The first draft was presented to the cabinet in early 2000s but did not meet its approval, since it's harbored pro-urban and anti-rural bias. But then, the NSDP was taken to the cabinet, again, early in 2003, where it was approved. The NSDP was updated again in 2005-2006, and a new revised version was published in May 2007. The revised NSDP took far more positive, assertive approach to a state investment in its economy. Key to such investment would be proper spatial development planning and agreement on potentials and need.
My friends, all this year, South Africa has been having difficulty meeting its development objectives due to the lack of coordination in the efforts of the various levels and sectors of government.
I agree, which is why I think it's important to set out how the government will collaborate with other players in the state and civil society. This is all in order to improve the long-term strategic planning for the country.
What's important is we need to find an effective and efficient ways for development.
To do this, it's best if we identify various alternatives or various outcomes.
But it's important that we also make some priorities so we know what to focus on.
Then this can all be used for national sector departments to achieve an agreement.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm from the National Cabinet and I'll be introducing to you the Green Paper. The plan uses 2025 as its horizon to serve
and as a guide to medium and short-term plans. As such, the output will consist of a long-term vision, a 5-year strategic framework, an annual program of action, spatial perspective, and occasional research.
While the implementation of post-apartheid national spatial development planning instruments was mixed, the awareness of the NSDP was high, especially in local and provincial plans. In provinces and municipalities that ranked high in terms of development potential, the reference to the NSDP tended to be higher than in places with low economic growth levels and development potentials.
So from what we've learned, the spatial planning there can be said to be master planning, right? It's because the entire thing is managed solely by the government without involving any experts or planners, especially community.
Isn't it also rational and comprehensive in a sense?
Yeah, they almost always aim to solve all problems without considering the available resources.
Now, I think that's it for today's topic, right? Thank you for the very interesting discussions. I'll see you guys next week.